Hi there, listeners.
Today we're brought to you by Yokkao, the world's most prolific Muay Thai brand.
That's right. We're so excited to be teamed up with Yokkao to bring you the best Muay Thai gear.
Honestly, mate, as a coach, it took me a long time to find pads that don't wear down after a few months, but my Yokkaos are staying strong.
It's the worst when you get kicked in the forearms with bad pads.
Yeah, it is the worst, especially when you have to do it every day.
If there's one thing you should never compromise on with martial arts, it's the gear that keeps you safe.
100%, mate. And Yokkao has the absolute best quality of training gear, gloves, shorts, and clothes as well.
Not only that, it's the best value for the quality of the equipment too.
Also, Yokkao are offering you 10% off any purchase by using code CombatCasuals10 at the checkout.
That's Combat Casuals 10 with no spaces.
Get yourself some top quality Muay Thai gear and save some cash. Hello, listeners. Before we get started today, I just want to do a big shout out for one of our sponsors, Power Body Nutrition. They sell all kinds of sports supplements, vitamins and minerals and health foods. If there is anything you need and you don't want to spend too much getting it, you can visit powerbody.co.uk. Alternatively, if you have your own health store or pharmacy or gym and you want to stock up, you can visit the wholesale site powerbody.eu. Ian, I'm not sure if you've used Powerbody before, but good stuff.
I have used it before. It's a great website, really easy to use with lots of products on there. And it gets even better if you use it through us because we have a great discount code too.
Oh, yeah. What's the discount code, Ian?
What is our discount code, Justin?
Fuck's sake. It's Combat Casuals 10. All one word and the number 10. Combat
there you go.
10.
It's Combat Casuals 10. That's my answer to your previous question.
Lovely. Cool. Right, let's do it. Let's get on with the podcast. Hello and welcome to the Combat Casuals podcast.
If you're a fan of mixed martial arts and all things related, stick around.
We'll be talking everything from past and future events
to harnessing your inner chi and everything in between.
We want to provide you with the opportunity to get involved in the ultimate fighting conversation.
We've been friends for too long now,
and we always have strange conversations.
So we thought, hey, why not make a podcast?
I'm Dustin.
I'm Ian.
And we're the Combat Casuals.
Yeah.
Really allow dogs, do they?
No. It's annoying. It's annoying.
It is annoying.
I wish I had a dog.
Yeah.
Best thing I ever did, get a dog.
Yeah. What's your dog's name?
Murphy.
What a good name for a dog. Yeah, he's cute as well. That's a good dog. Or she? Murphy can be both.
Yeah.
She?
Yeah.
People can be cool. Yeah.
Get out.
I'm fairly certain there's a very famous film character called Murphy who's a girl.
Right. Do you know who it is or what film? Or
I'm fairly certain it's the X-Files, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I'm just going to Google the... In fact, there's the first name that comes up is a person off an American sitcom called Murphy Brown, who's a female.
Okay, all right.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
He's a Boston, isn't he, Niall?
He is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Good little lad. I like it. We still need to get them together, Reggie and Murph.
Yeah. He's always keen for a player like.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Well, he does play in many different ways.
It's all like riddles with this. He plays in many different ways. I'm like, what? How does he play?
I don't want to meet him up.
Yeah, I'm like, what does that mean?
I think he's confused sometimes.
Ah, gotcha.
He's got a little pal, Boris, which that friendship, it goes beyond that sometimes, I think.
How old is he now?
He's just coming up to 18 months, year and a half.
Oh, okay. Nice. He's not much older than Reg. Reg is just over 1.
Will he get bigger then?
Murphy?
Or is that the full size that'll be? Because Reg looks like he's exponentially grown. That's the...
I was saying to Dustin, we meet... What breed's your dog again, Dustin?
He's a cockapoo. He don't look like one, but...
Yeah, we meet them, and they come in. Their size varies so much; it's crazy. Obviously, your dog, Dustin, is massive.
Yeah, it's a big dog.
Big enough. Plenty big.
I'm
that's
shocked
what
at
we're
how
talking
big
about
he got.
today, isn't it? We are.
We're just talking about dogs.
What's happening this weekend? Anyone?
This with the beginning of season 3, because technically we do seasons now. We've actually decided to stop talking about fights and just talk about dog breeds. That's what we actually talk about now. That's it. I don't own a dog, but we're going to talk about it.
As long as we don't mix those two things together, I think we'll be all right.
Oh yeah, no, they're bad people who mix those.
Reggie wouldn't do well in a fight. I know that. Have
you not been teaching him jiu-jitsu?
He's dreadful. I have tried. His capacity for like remembering the steps is poor. Like he seems to just do the same thing every time. He's very predictable.
He pulls guard, but then after that, it's just...
No, he doesn't pull guard. He doesn't. He just goes straight in and he walks straight into guillotines. He just goes in head first, mouth open, guillotine.
And you're like, oh, for
as soon as you get around his teeth.
Not again.
Come on. Time. You're better than this.
Come on, Niall don't know what we're talking about. Niall don't do no jiu-jitsu. He's a boxer.
You don't do jiu-jitsu, no?
No. Do you know, it's something I would like to do. I was thinking about it today, actually, but I obviously attend the Muay Thai and boxing with Dustin, and there's a little boxing club around the corner from me that I go to, and there's only so many things you can do, right? I'd rather do one or two things and put, more effort into them than kind of just dipping your toe in the water of 3 different things, I think.
Oh, well, you see, though, that is what mixed martial arts is, though, isn't it?
That is
true. All of those into one nice little sandwich.
You don't have to pretend you'd like to try jiu-jitsu just because you're on this show.
Yeah, if you don't want to do jiu-jitsu, we'll just ask you to leave now. That's fine. No, it's a rule if you come on here that everybody must enjoy jiu-jitsu.
The thing, I think it's just because it's so alien to me. I feel that, I think I worry. I worry more about other people getting hurt than myself. And, I listen to you guys going on about like cranking joints and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. If I start getting involved and did this wrong and really hurt someone,
do you know what?
You're just too dangerous for jiu-jitsu. Yeah. That's what it is. Mate, when I see red...
yeah. Do you know, they do say that the like most injuries you get is from white belts who don't know what they're doing.
Definitely.
Like at class, when you're rolling with a white belt, I always find...
Ian,
and I was
you
like this
just
too.
got your blue belt, and he's going
I
these fucking white belts.
when I'm rolling with a white belt. No, what I was going to say, even when I was a white belt, when I was like training, you would always get this, like no matter what, you'd always get somebody who's new to the class, like their first class. And it's not everybody who's new, because there's a lot of people who turn up who are like, oh, I just want to learn, take it slow, etc. But you'll get someone who's usually a bit bigger, bit muscular, a bit bigger guy who's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and will try and crank something really hard and just do strength to try and do damage. And they're always the one that are the most frustrating. But if you know that, like if you've got the frame of mind that you're like, oh, I don't want to hurt somebody, you probably won't, because if that's what you're thinking, you're not going to just suddenly do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you get that across the board. We had it this morning, didn't we, Niall, in boxing?
Yeah.
With there was a lad who came to boxing this morning who's obviously quite inexperienced, but bigger than some of the other guys who go there. And he wanted to take part in the sparring, and obviously just had no control over his body. So the very first thing he did was hurt somebody.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so I just
not bad, right? Or was
it absolutely fine. More just like shock, like, whoa, okay, is that how hard we're hitting? Because I think with jiu-jitsu, if you have a big like experience disparity between two people, the more experienced person, regardless of the size, can try and like tone it down or manage the spazzier guy.
Yes.
Whereas in striking, you can't really do that, because the only way to stop someone is to like hit them. So if you're hitting them very gently and they're hitting you hard, there's no real way to stop them. You can't.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Unless you've got Canelo's head movement, you're not just going to be able to avoid chops forever. You have to hit them back and say, look, stop.
Yeah, that kind of happened. Do you remember, like, back in the day, we popped down to, I think it was the York University MMA team.
Yes.
And there was a guy, I remember, because I've barely done any striking. Like, I've only really done grappling, and I did striking with you, Dust, but other than that, since leaving York, I've not done any striking since that.
Yeah.
So I was there, and this guy, he had done no grappling. So once we got doing jiu-jitsu, I was like, okay, but the opposite of him, when we did striking, he wanted to just knock my head off, basically.
Brilliant.
And I think he did taekwondo or something, but he was, and I genuinely saw stars. There was a clip. He clipped me right across the fucking face, and it must have hit my side of my head, and I was like dizzy. It was like really, I felt sick a bit because it really hurt. And he was like, "Oh, yo, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know we were going that hard." I was like, "I didn't hit you hard a bit. I didn't even hit you. I don't know what happened.
Didn't even hit you.
Where did that come from?" And then when we started doing jiu-jitsu, because I took a minute, he was like, "Oh, you can go hard if you want." I was like, "No, I don't want to. Just because I know what I'm." Yeah. I was like, "Why? Just because I know what I'm doing, I don't want to hurt you." What? It was such a weird attitude. I don't know. I guess that's different to the guy this morning because that guy knew what he was doing, but just wanted to hit me as hard as he could. I guess.
Yeah. This guy this morning, I don't think he had any malicious intent. He wasn't in control of his body. Do you know what I mean? Because that's one of the things with Muay Thai. Obviously, you're more likely to hurt somebody. Because some people, it's a skill in itself being able to hit people with control, like knowing exactly how hard you're hitting someone, like, and just you know, what I mean, being gentle. I mean, Niall, like, you're a big guy, but you're good at that, like, you know, being gentle on the smaller people and knowing how to gauge your. But it's something that takes experience. You can't really teach it.
Yeah, I think as well, like, especially when you first get into sparring, you're quite keen to kind of put into practice what you've been doing, and you're quite eager. And sometimes that sort of energy comes out in the wrong way, doesn't it? You know, you kind of forget what you're doing and you lose that sort of control. But I think a lot of the guys down at the gym are really good at it. And I mean, I've had a couple of times where people have landed a shot on me and they've not thrown it hard, but you know, the way that you move your body, if I tried to slip it and I've gone the wrong way, and they kind of stop and apologize. I'm like, no, it's all good. It's one of those things. And again, that I found that can be another thing that comes from inexperience, is that as you move around, and sometimes if you move into a shot, it can feel much harder than what the person's thrown it. And if you don't acknowledge that, you just think the person's throwing harder, and then you see that person coming back. So that, it all comes with experience, though, doesn't it, in time?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think sparring's like that in all sport, like with jiu-jitsu as well, if we're talking about the nerves of doing jiu-jitsu. I think a lot of the time people do, or at least at my team, there is a atmosphere of like not wanting to hurt. Nobody wants to hurt anybody. And a lot of the time, it's like, "Oh, I'm sorry if that hurt," and it's like, it's okay, you know, it's fine. You know, it's more if you're like the guy I just described who wants to go hard for no reason. That's the issue. But I'm not sure how often, like, at least the teams I've been in, and I know obviously where you guys train with Dust, your team, I'm fairly certain. Do you think there's a way of, I don't want to say it, like, if somebody did come in like that who wanted to hurt people, would you? Because we've not really had that at Wave, luckily. We've not had somebody who's come in and gone, "Oh, I really want to like break some bones or choke somebody," or something.
So
like
we
that.
do get it. We do get it. So first of all, I'll say one thing similar. When Niall said about when you first get into sparring, you know, you're quite eager and keen to use all of your skills. Another thing that I notice is when people come in who are experienced to whatever extent, but they haven't trained here before, they'll be sparring, and like I get this sometimes. It's quite funny as a coach. They'll keep looking at me whilst they're sparring, like, "Is he watching? Like, is he watching?" And I'm like, "Bro, stop looking at me. Look at the guy who's trying to hit you. Look at the other guy. I'm not trying to hit you. Like, I am watching." You know what I mean? Like, you know, the same way a kid would, like, "Dad, like, you're watching? Like, watch this, Dad." Like,
I love the idea of this guy's doing it, and then sadly he gets really hit hard, and you're like, "You should have been watching. You should have been watching. What are you doing?"
This is the thing. So I think that's similar as well. Like, so people will come in and they'll get involved in the sparring, and no one there knows them, including the coach. So they feel like they want to make a name for themselves, but obviously that's not a good attitude for sparring.
No.
What did you ask me? What to do when people get carried away?
Yeah, I was basically like, because at Wave, we don't really have, or maybe, I mean, I don't do striking at all, as I said, but maybe you find it more with striking. I don't know. But at Wave, I've just not experienced anybody, even when we have open mats and people come from other teams, I've just not experienced people come in who want to, like, obviously at open mats, you want to go hard because that's as close to competition as you can get, but you're still not wanting to hurt the other person. But when you get somebody come in who has had, I guess, that attitude of maybe not necessarily wanting to hurt somebody, but certainly being like, "This guy is less experienced, so I'm going to, like, I guess, beat on them more." Have you had that sort of like experience?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So first thing I do, I don't know if this is right or not, it's just what I do. I'll obviously try to figure out why they're going over the top. Some people do not realize they're going over the top. Like if you're bigger than somebody, you're not using your full strength, but you don't realize that you might be hurting the other person just because you're that much bigger and stronger than they are. And then, some people do, some people are really afraid to lose, so they'll kind of do whatever they can to win. So depending on their reasoning for behaving how they are, I'll do different things. So I had a mat enforcer. I still kind of have a few guys who are like really good, where if someone comes in who's a bit of a bully, I'll just say, look, can you roll with this guy? And basically show him that he's not the tip of the iceberg in here. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's better people in here. So that's if I think someone's trying to make a name for themselves or has got a bit of an ego problem or whatever. I'll say, look, I'll put one of the better guys with him and say, give him a hard round, make him lose, make him realise there's better people in the room. But then most people, it's just about, like the spazzy white belt thing. People just need to calm down. So I'll tend to, if I can tell someone's not got malicious intent, like, because not being funny, I don't want to get hurt. I've got to do it 7 days a week. If I get an injury, that's my job. So if I can tell someone's not got malicious intent, I'll roll with them. And because like my style anyway is really relaxed, and I'll just be like laughing and joking and playing games. I'll do as many like wet willies as I will like submissions from full mount. Do you know what I mean? Like, just
no, not the wet willies.
Yeah. So do you know what I mean? That's kind of my style, is just like a laugh and a play around, and I'll kind of roll with that person. And I'll, anytime they're really tense, I'll just be like, look, relax. And I'll help them work out of the position. And I'll just show them how like fun jiu-jitsu can be. And it doesn't have to be who wins. It's just like, let's just try a bunch of fun stuff and see what happens. It depends on the person and what their reason is for being over the top. Niall, what do you do if, say, because I'm sure you've had this, if you're sparring and someone starts going hard, what kind of is the point that you would stop and say, look, that's enough, I'm not sparring with you? Or, I don't know, do you try and meet their intensity? Or, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say to you about that as well, as I think sometimes it can come, like, it can be bred from the environment, right? Some people might come to your gym from other places having sparred a lot harder at those gyms. So I've been at those sort of places. And, I mean, what I do is specifically what I do at your place. Not that anybody ever goes really hard, but like you say, you might get somebody new who's there first time sparring, start throwing a bit harder. I just kind of say, well, it's just point scoring. Just think you just want to land. If you ever watch it in the Olympics or something like that, when we're not trying to take each other's heads off, we just want to land a shot. You just want to learn from it, type thing. But I was saying to Dustin, like I've been to places before where there are people in the gym, as you say, who want to prove a point, and even one of the coaches gave me a nudge once and was just like, just watch yourself with this guy. I want to make a point. And I'm like, why? Yeah. And he's just like, I mean, I'm just, a tall guy. They're just like, you're one of the bigger guys in the gym. So they'll probably, want to prove a point. And I was like, I'm just here to learn and enjoy myself. I'm not challenging anybody.
It is weird that, isn't it? Because I think there's a mix of like professional teams that we can all hear of. Like, and by professional, I don't mean, obviously, our teams are still professional, but I mean like pro athlete teams. And you have people like, what's his name? Well, you see videos of like Conor McGregor training with partners, and you hear horror stories, I guess, of teammates saying like when he first joined, he went really hard with people. And there's a myriad of like, the Lion's Den, with Frank Shamrock and Ken Shamrock, with the fact that they would go crazy hard. And do you find, Niall, or do you find like that you're cool with going hard with people? If you're all right with it, do you enjoy those sort of like ones where somebody's like, yeah, I'm going to really go for it? Because you see videos, not just with striking, but with like wrestling, like Michael Chandler and Kamaru Usman training together. They would go crazy hard. So do you prefer the more point scory sort of like learning those techniques, or do you prefer to go that sort of hard sparring?
Yeah, I prefer the kind of point scoring technique style. Like I say, it's last thing I want to do, as we've already said, is hurt somebody. But I do find that when you go against those people who go a bit harder, everything seems to be more telegraphed anyway. So you can fight these guys who are throwing these big hooks, but because they throw them, they really wind up on them. You see them coming a mile off anyway. And I don't have too much of a problem with that because you do have time to react to it. I've never really been in a spar with somebody who's so skilled that they can kind of avoid telegraphing these sort of things because of the level that obviously I'm sparring at. And at that, you kind of walk away thinking, well, yeah, if that's their game, that's up to them. But I would actively probably avoid sparring with them again because I'm just not interested in being hit that hard, to be honest.
Yeah.
If I was, I'd probably want to do it, competitively.
Yeah. From like my experience as well, like the guys who come in and spar hard are the once a weekers. Like you go to a class once on a Saturday. Like Ian, how many days a week do you do jiu-jitsu?
5 or 6.
5 or 6. Imagine you were getting hurt or injured, or imagine someone was like hitting you hard, like how you got hit that day when you said you were dizzy. Every one of those days.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You just couldn't. You wouldn't be able to keep up with that. So someone who's training consistently, it's fucking stupid to spar that hard on a regular occasion because you're gonna get injuries. Like even if you just forget about your head, like if you miscue a kick and kick someone in the knee or the elbow or whatever, mate, swollen ankles and that is a massive thing. Broken toes is a massive thing. Like you're gonna get injured. And I don't know, even that many repetitive shots to the head is obviously really bad for you. You just can't spar that hard that frequently. So anyone who's sparring hard, I see it as like, oh, you don't train often. You know what I mean? You're not.
Yeah.
That's how I
get
see
that.
it.
It's the same. It is similar in jiu-jitsu because I have certain training partners that I know that when we train we will go a bit harder, but it's more like flow grappling, like rather than like, oh, I'm really going to try and get that submission. The second we get the like choke, that we don't put pressure on, it's just tap and we immediately go again. So it works cardio really, really hard. The only days that I'm like, there's only one day a week, which is usually when I go for hard sparring in jiu-jitsu, which is my Sunday open mats. Other than that, most of the time I'd rather learn the techniques and take the time. And even if we do have an open mat, it's more slow. Or I like to be in a position where it's like somebody's got my back or somebody's got mount on me so I can work on defense. But other than that, I just don't really want to go massively hard in training because the next day I'll be fucked. So I don't want to miss out a day of training where I could have learned something because I'm fucked. But yeah, totally. I mean, it must be not that jiu-jitsu isn't as intense, but like the fact that you're getting repetitive head like possible concussions if you're going really hard in training with striking. I get what you mean, that the people who are doing it must be just one time a week, because if you're doing that all the time, you're going to get brain damage.
You can't do it all the time. It's impossible. No. Like I don't get involved in all of the sessions, but even just coaching, like holding pads and that, like someone will hit the pad wrong and it will like bust my wrist, and I'm like, fuck's sake! Now I've got like a week of holding pads and my wrist is hurting, and it's like you got to keep adjusting your game. If I was getting involved on the classes every day, there's just no way you can keep training efficiently when people are like swinging big shots like that.
And that's something I've come to learn as well, especially from going down to your place, Dustin. When we're doing the drills, is just work yourself up to it, right? So you kind of start it, just do it slow, take it steady. Yeah. Whereas before, I always thought that, all right, you have to do this fast. I have to look like I know what I'm doing type thing. So the first time that I do it, I'll always go through the first ones, just doing it slow, making sure that I'm getting posture right, things like that. And then try and speed it up from there. Mm-hmm. And I can think of times when I've done pads with people and like I said, trying to throw shots too fast, and I end up, hitting somebody with a hook right on the forearm, and you think, oh, I bet that sucks. Like, they're being very polite about it, but I bet they're not really very happy because I wouldn't have liked to have taken that shot on the forearm.
Yeah, everyone does it though, especially like. Because even not just going to a new gym, but just having a new partner. Like, oh, I've never been on pads with this person before. I think a lot of guys have that like macho sense of, I have to hit the pads harder than he hits the pads. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to make him struggle on those pads. Otherwise, I've not done my job. I think a lot of people have that attitude. And I see it a lot of the time. No, I don't blame it. I think I was the same when I started. Like, I don't know. You want the person holding the pads to think, oh, this guy's good.
Yeah, I think everybody must be like that. I think if anybody was like, I never ever did that, like to try and have, because everybody's got an ego, right?
Fucking
like,
liars.
No matter what you stop lying to yourself. Well, yeah. Stop lying to me, and stop lying to everybody. We've had enough of it. No,
voice. That was your like classic FM voice.
Yeah, I'm in your ear. Today we're listening to amazing tunes. No.
Just know what you were going to say. Fuck's sake.
I was to say, like, I think everybody must be like that, because everybody's got an ego, no matter how much people are like, no, I never do stuff. I 100% admit that when I started doing jiu-jitsu and when I was a white belt, because now I'm a blue belt. No, when I was a white belt.
Ian's got a blue belt, everyone. One
if you didn't know,
up from white.
Did you know Niall had a blue belt? Did you hear about that?
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This attitude is why you will never be a purple belt.
Do you know, I actually the other day was saying to Lorenzo, my coach, I was like, why did you give me a blue belt? Why did you do that?
He's got to stand by it now or he looks like an idiot.
Yeah, I know, right? I wonder we'll have to get Lorenzo back on, because he was like, no, you're ready, but I wonder if he was like, shit. This is
actually in hindsight.
Yeah, in hindsight, I shouldn't have done this. We should have given you a green belt. We should have got you to the kids' grades. We've gone the other way.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. There's kids' belts are like, I don't know how the kids' belts work. I've seen them, because obviously I do work for Lorenzo, and I was doing inventory. And we had quite a few kids' belts. There's like yellow and there's green, but then each colors have like different stripes. But instead of like on a jiu-jitsu belt where you just get the stripe on the standard bit, it's like the belts themselves are striped through the fabric, like it's sewn in. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know how they work.
That's good though, because like if I meet one more Taekwondo black belt who hasn't done Taekwondo since they were like 15, I'm gonna fucking lose it. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're like,
why is it Taekwondo? Why have you got such hatred?
What? Because that's the one that I seem to see. Like, I swear, there's more black belts in Taekwondo than any other martial art, and then they got it when they were a teenager. There doesn't seem to be a children's belt rank system and an adult one. You just get your black belt.
I thought this with karate. Yeah, in karate there just seems to be the standard colors for kids as well.
Yeah, I think. Well, actually, this is true because this is quite a funny, I think, story. So, I always just buy spare boxing gloves for classes for the studio. I just like go on Facebook Marketplace, and any that are like a $5 or a $10, I'll go get them. Mm-hmm. And there was this one pair. They were kids ones, and I thought, but that's okay because we've got some like smaller girls and that who come in, and it's just hand size. So these 10s, and I went to get them, and what was happening? Oh yeah, 2 kids answered the door. A little boy. I don't know how old kids are. If you don't have kids and you know how old kids are, you're a fucking creep, right? I don't know how old this kid was. And I shouldn't know. It was like anything between 5 and 14. I don't know how old he was.
I thought when you said I don't know how old kids are, I thought you meant, do you not know the age range where you become a teenager?
Hang on. Right. Yeah. No, not that. I just mean I can't look at a child and be like, that one's 7. Like, I don't know. I don't know how old it is. I just stole a little bit there from Chris D'Elia, but that is how I feel. So I don't know how old this kid was. But anyway, and then an even smaller child, a girl, like obviously went to get the mum. And so I was just left talking to this boy. And he does like karate and that, and he's telling me, I just got my something belt. I can't remember what color it was. It was like some color I don't recognize, like orange or something. And I was like, oh, nice one. I said, I'm sorry, I don't do karate. Like, I don't know where that is. And he was like, oh, it's like 2 away from my black belt or something. I was like, right, okay. I was like, mate, I'll kick your head off. I don't care. Like, even when you get your black belt, come find me. Because he was tiny. He was this tiny little boy.
But he's... I was going to say, this story could be wildly different based off that kind of scale that you gave us. If this kid could be 14, where you're like, you're picking on a young teenager, or he could have been 5.
Well, when you said he was a small kid, was he under the age of 10?
Either way, what's he doing anywhere near a black belt? You shouldn't be able to give a black belt in any discipline to a child.
Yeah, no I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I don't know about you, Niall, but it sounds like you were threatening a kid.
The last bit was just like in my head. I didn't say
oh
this.
My God.
I didn't say this out loud. I didn't say, come find me, you little cunt. I didn't pay for the gloves. I just fucking took them. Mine now. It's my hat now. Totally my hat.
You broke this small boy's dreams. Like he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a black belt. Fuck, you're going to be a black belt. Fuck you, kid.
No, I'm sure he will. He probably is now, but I still bet he's trash. No, it's too much. But you get what I'm saying. I
do get what you're saying.
I totally get giving, doing belt ranking systems for kids, but it should be separate to the adults. You can't have a black belt in a legitimate, mate, I'm going to get shit for this, but semi-legitimate discipline like Taekwondo.
Oh, he said it. He's done it.
You need to keep the legitimate black belt separate to the child black belts, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't think... I found it weird because when I was small, when I was at age that we couldn't decide on, like for a kid's age, I went to karate class like a little bit, and I didn't enjoy it. But I remember there was a kid there who was like...
How old were you? Were you a kid at the time?
Yes, it was. Yeah, but we haven't decided what a kid's age is. You can't look...
I thought perhaps just you, a bit younger, like 18, 19, went to a kid's class.
It was last week. I was a bit younger.
Just went around smashing all the black belts.
Just beating the shit out of some kids.
Zero training. Just windmilling through these kids.
Makes me feel good about myself. Makes me feel like confidence. Yeah, I can
plenty of black belts, thanks.
Yeah, and I won.
Ian's the, they do them videos like exposing fake black belts. But Ian goes around to children's classes. You're not a black belt. Sit down.
Just punches a fucking 10-year-old in the face. You're not a fucking black belt. God, look at yourself.
Anyway,
no, I was quite young, like maybe 8, maybe 7 or 8.
So you don't know.
Well, I don't know. Well, we can't decide what kids look like now, so I can't remember. But maybe 7
They're
or
like
8.
regular people, but smaller.
And I don't know why that made me laugh. So,
it's funny.
So I was there, and I remember one of the kids there was like, I don't know what karate colors are, but they were like close to being a black belt, maybe one away. And that when I was a kid, I was, oh, that's really cool. But now that I'm an adult, I'm like, if that kid still is walking around at this age now, like they must be like, and going, I'm a black belt, I'd be like, you need to really reevaluate your life.
Isn't it, mate?
Yeah, you really need to reevaluate what you think a black belt is, because that's sad. That's real sad.
I don't really know how the belting system works in karate, but don't they go on to like second and third dans and all this sort of stuff?
I don't know, mate. It's a load of, and there's so many colours in karate. Like,
I'm a black belt, so I'm the best at karate. Like, well, yes, but actually, no.
yeah, because I don't understand. Like, I'm looking it up now. So there's white, yellow, orange, purple, blue, green, brown, red, black. That's too many, right?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That's way too many.
But do they do stripes? Because obviously jiu-jitsu, it's white 1 2 3 4, blue 1 2 3 4.
Yeah, but even the stripes isn't necessarily like. I think sometimes stripes are more like, not to be harsh on stripes, but like it's more like participation, isn't it? You're doing well.
Well done, you showed up. Just get a sticker that says I tried my best.
That's the wrong word. Participation's not the right word. But like what I meant is like, a stripe is saying like, oh, you've learned X amount, whereas a blue belt or a purple belt or a brown belt, it's saying, right, you are at this level. You know what I mean? Like I had one stripe and then I went to a blue belt. So maybe it's just maybe it's just that stripes are missed a lot where I am.
So you're saying you didn't learn everything you needed to learn at white belt.
This is why Lorenzo, I'm saying perhaps he's questioning what he's done. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe he just thought you were someone else. The beardy guy with the long hair. Yeah, I know the one. Don't worry.
Maybe he said Ian, and I stood up, and there was a different Ian, but it was too late. It was too late. He was like, "Oh shit!"
I'm not going to embarrass him.
And there's the other Ian.
Really embarrassing.
And the other Ian's there with all 4 of his stripes, and he's sat there ready to go, and he's like, "Oh shit! Oh, it's too late. It's gone too far."
I was going to ask you about those gloves. Dustin, because you've got that pair of 16s in the gym, which is like the most hilarious pair of boxing gloves I've ever seen. You need to put a pair of, those toy Hulk hands on for them to actually fit. They're enormous.
You mean there's a red pair and a black pair?
Yeah, the red ones.
Yeah, they're fucking enormous, mate.
So I can't get through this guy's guard.
Yeah, there's one guy who likes to wear them, and like he's not a big guy, so they just look hilarious. But they do look like the inflatable ones that you buy for kids, don't they? Like,
yeah.
They are massive. Someone donated them. They just gave them to me, so I was like, "Hey, free gloves are better than no gloves."
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's just some giant gloves that you've got in the gym.
They're just massive, mate. Yeah, they're 16s, but they're right. Next, if I'll remember tomorrow when I'm in, I'll take a picture and I'll put them on the Combat Casual story so you can see these ridiculous fucking gloves. They are funny.
But you've got your fights tomorrow, haven't you?
Yes. Well, I've got an interesting weekend. So I've got. Oh, this is really bad, actually. So I've got 2 of my students are competing tonight. So I'll be going and cornering both of them tonight.
Nice.
And one of them is from the York St John Thai Boxing Society. And basically, some of the captains just aren't going to show up to the fights now, apparently.
Oh.
So they've asked me, please, could I step in and corner some of the guys who don't have cornermen now? So I'm going to meet some new people. Be a cornerman for people I don't know. That's going to be good fun.
Why aren't there captains coming?
I don't know, mate. I didn't listen to the ins and outs of it. I just said, yeah, okay, whatever. Because obviously I feel dreadful for anyone who
doesn't
got a fight,
have corner.
and then their corner or their captain or whoever you want to call them just ducks out. So I wouldn't want to go to that fight. So obviously I'll step in and do that for them. And then, tomorrow we've got our in-house event, which is going to be awesome. We've got 2 jiu-jitsu matches, 2 Thai matches, and 2 MMA matches. That'll be... I mean, I'll try and get this podcast out today. So, yes, I will say it. That will be on Instagram Live tomorrow, Sunday the 28th, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. After it's been live, it will be as a post on my Instagram, dna.mma, and it will also be on YouTube, the same place where the Combat Casuals podcast is listed on YouTube, DNA MMA. You can go and watch it there if anyone cares. So we've started.
I can't wait for those MMA fights.
Mate,
yeah,
I'm literally so excited.
I know. I'm going to be watching it. It's going to be good.
They're more like, obviously, for me and for the people who come to our classes, you're more like emotionally involved with those matches than you are like the UFC or Bellator. That's a bunch of strangers, and whilst they are really exciting, I'd much rather watch people I know. You feel really invested.
It's completely different when you're actually there as well. When you're watching something on TV, and then when you actually see it in person, it's completely different. And even if it is like
3 foot away,
a small amateur show, it's still, you get fully engaged with what's going on and you enjoy it.
100%.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Niall comes and judges for us as well. Niall's a boxing and Muay Thai judge when we have the events.
I was just about to ask, Niall, have you done much fights at all, or is it just you enjoy the spectating/judging of them?
Yeah, I'm a bit like Dustin, really, when it comes to competition. I was telling him that I was really interested in your podcast where you're telling us about your jiu-jitsu competition, because it's not something that I would do. And I mean, I'm getting older now. I'm 36 years old, so I kind of feel that
that's old.
Well, when it comes to competing in sports, especially combat sports, I think 36. You've probably missed the boat on that one.
I don't know.
So that's Yoel Romero.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think that's you look like Yoel Romero, don't you? I'm fairly certain that's what I got told before coming on this podcast.
You sound like I ate Yoel Romero.
Oh God. But no, I don't think that's necessary. I guess I don't know. I can't talk for striking. Maybe you guys will be able to say better for that. But I think
better. I think you need to say better.
What I mean is like with grappling, with jiu-jitsu, I don't think there's necessarily like 36. You're over the hill to compete. I think you can compete in jiu-jitsu for as long as you pretty much want. There's like masters ones which are like there's masters 1, 2, 3, and possibly 4, but like 40 and above is masters 3, and then a masters 4 is maybe even above that. So like maybe 60 possibly.
Yeah, I do feel that when it comes to kind of the combat sports at the gym, that boxing is probably pretty low on people's not priorities, but preferences, I guess. I think people would much rather do Muay Thai or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or even MMA. So, I mean, I would happily do it, but at the same time, it's like, you want people to do something that they're comfortable with and that they're happy doing. And I think a lot of the people at the gym are much better Muay Thai fighters than boxers. I think that'd be fair to say, wouldn't it, Dustin?
Well, yeah, because obviously we focus on, because we're an MMA gym, it's not often that we focus on just boxing. It's only recently, I mean, I'm not telling you now, but tell the listeners, we've only recently added just a boxing class, because one thing I had noticed was some of the guys who focus heavily on Muay Thai. I'm not a big fan of like the really discipline specific stances. So like, you know, a Muay Thai specific stance I don't think is a good idea for MMA. You're going to get taken down. And some of these guys tend to fall victim to good boxers, or good boxers will fall victim to good Thai fighters. And I think it's really important to practice both styles so you can mix it up when you have to. If someone's taller than you, you need to change. If they're shorter and stronger, you need to change. If they're a boxer, you need to change. So I think personally that adding this boxing class on, I've also added a wrestling class, because we've always done grappling and we do takedowns, but obviously in the open mat aspect of the wrestling class, the goal isn't to submit each other, it's to pin each other. And that's just a really good way to change up your training style and focus on a different goal to, I don't know, like broaden your talents. You know, you got to find a different way to do something. Just because he's belly down, you can't rear naked choke him. You're going to have to find a way to manipulate this person to get him over onto his back. And I find the same thing with boxing. Like forcing a Thai boxer to not be able to use his feet is going to make his hands a lot better, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's interesting that, because with your team would you consider doing, because they're doing this, aren't they? I think it's tonight. They're doing a special event where it's a number of MMA fighters, like professional ones, going against boxers, and they're doing like a mixed rule set for it. And I think one of the biggest names I know of it, Frank Mir's fighting somebody on it, but I don't know who the guy is. But they're doing it. Shannon Briggs is fighting Rampage Jackson.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I kind of missed this until the other day, but it's like special rules. Sorry, where it's like a mixture of boxing and MMA. So, like, I guess with what you're saying there, where it's like different like stances, different sets and heights, etc. Would you consider teaching like a hybrid class where it's boxing mixed with that, or is that what you always just would do?
So that's what I've done anyway. So my classes are listed as Muay Thai / MMA striking, boxing / MMA striking, jiu-jitsu / MMA striking, because MMA grappling, because I want to make it clear. Yeah, you know, most of the techniques we're using are founded in Muay Thai or founded in boxing, but I'm trying to apply it to mixed martial arts so that you could fight anyone. So even when we were doing just the Muay Thai classes, typically you don't use a lot of like head movement and quick footwork in Muay Thai, but I was putting that in anyway because that is something you would want to use in MMA. So I was kind of like crossing disciplines anyway. So I never taught it as traditional Muay Thai.
Interesting. I'm trying to find what this rule set is for these fights tonight.
So whilst you're trying to find it, we had in our last event we had an interesting match. We had one of our guys, Magic, is like he does know some jiu-jitsu. I mean, his jiu-jitsu is not bad, but he's a Muay Thai fighter. He's done K1, he's done boxing, he does Muay Thai. And the other guy, you know, Jan, his Muay Thai is decent, but not on the level of Magic's. But he's a fantastic grappler. He got his blue belt not so long ago, and he wins every tournament he enters. So they did a mixed rules match where it was 2 rounds of Muay Thai, and then the final round was MMA, which, in my personal opinion, was a little bit more favoured to the Muay Thai guy, because by the 3rd round, you're both very tired. It's hard to get a takedown and a sub, especially in MMA gloves. So the plan was for this event to have them 2 again, but to have 2 rounds of MMA and 1 round of Thai this time.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, so... But I'm not sure what the rules are of the one you're talking about.
Well, I was going to say what you did was similar to what they're doing. They haven't done it yet, but with Demetrius Johnson, isn't it? Where they're doing like one round. Yeah, one round of Thai boxing, 1 round of
4
MMA.
rounds, right?
Yeah, I
MMA,
think so.
Thai MMA, yeah.
Yeah. Because there is one, I can't remember who it was, but it was another one like quite some time ago. I'm not sure if it was in Ryzen or if it was in One. But they did one, and unfortunately, the MMA guy got knocked out like immediately in the 2nd round because he immediately went for a takedown, and the Thai boxer did a flying knee and knocked him out.
Brilliant,
because he knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
like
was like, of course,
yeah. So he just timed it and knocked him out cold. And it's like, that's pretty predictable. I'm looking it up now.
Go on, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, for me, like on a professional level like that, those interdisciplinary fights, I do find a bit silly because it's like one guy does everything, the other guy only does one thing. So you're trying to meet in the middle to humor the guy who only does one thing. It's like, I see it as like, well, are you going to fight or aren't you? Like, if it's either a fight or it isn't. Like, one guy, the MMA guy, knows how to fight. The other guy knows how to box or knows jiu-jitsu or knows, kickboxing or something. So I don't know. I just find that a funny thing. It's like, okay, well, if you don't want to fight this guy, go do boxing with a boxer. Like, why are you being like, okay, well, kicks but no knees, and you can. I don't know. I just find that silly. Like, hand selecting all these different rules to try and best suit you is kind of pointless to me. It's a fight or it's not, is my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Noel? I'm reading up these rules.
Well, it
doesn't make any sense. So give me a second.
Go ahead. I've only just come across this Shannon Briggs and Rampage stuff, but they are doing one of the things I cannot stand, and me and Dustin spoke about it briefly a couple of weeks ago, and you're seeing more and more of it, is in the face-offs when fighters are now kind of touching each other, they're grabbing each other, and the worst one. And I can't stand the guy anyway. I hate Jeremy Stevens. And he shoved his opponent. I can't remember who it was now. And he got a concussion and the fight got cancelled.
He did.
Yeah. Dickhead.
What was the point of that? Like, you've ruined, your chances of progressing your career. Everybody's seeing the fight. You're getting a payday just because you wanted to shove him at the face-off.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I don't get it either. I don't get it why. You're going to fight each other. Like, you're going to get as close to...
Drakkar close.
Yeah. I don't understand. It's like, did you see Canelo slapped the guy? He was like, "Why? You're gonna be fighting."
The other guy tried to hit him first, right?
Yeah, Caleb Plant, wasn't it?
Fair enough. But still, neither of you should do that. Like, then the first guy shouldn't be trying to hit him anyway. Like, why are you trying to hit each other like that? It's so stupid.
Right. It was very stupid, and I totally agree. That shit really winds me up. But that was incredible from Canelo. Like, Plant tried to hit him. Canelo just moved his head and twatted him twice.
You've got to think, being the other guy, like, you're about to go...
shit.
Like, well, this fight isn't going to go well now, is it?
Yeah.
So something, I'm reading about the rule set, and I might be misunderstanding this, but it's saying,
Likely.
as per the press release, Triad Combat, or Triad, is a revolutionary new combat sport which integrates boxing and MMA rules in an aggressive, fast-paced manner, with the fighters competing in a specially designed triangular ring over 2 minutes.
In the corner of that, like, you're never getting out, are you?
Well, I was thinking, what?
Is this an equilateral triangle?
Yeah,
Scalene.
Over 2 minute rounds featuring professional boxers competing against professional mixed martial arts fighters. The specific motto of leveling the playing field between two sports utilizing crossover gloves with holding allowed is meant to offer boxing and MMA fighters even more battle where neither opponent has great advantage. Elbows and kicks will be forbidden, however, in their rules. So
it's bullshit. I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it, right? Like, a boxer versus... Because this is a debate that will go on forever, and it winds me up every time I've got to hear about it. Like, who would win, the boxer or the MMA? Well, if it's a fucking fight, the fighter will win. If it's a boxing match, the fucking boxer will win. Like, I don't get where the confusion is. And why have we got to create these stupid fucking matches? Because how do you decide which one is easy? Right, so which one's fair? The boxer boxes. Done, finished, right? The MMA fighter boxes, elbows, knees, kicks, clinch, takedown, subs. Okay, so how much of that do you include to make it fair? What is fair? You know what I mean? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Sorry.
It's really... I can tell it's press buttons, man.
Because you got to listen to these fucking boxers like, oh, no, the boxer would just fucking spark him out. No, he wouldn't. Like, because the other guy knows boxing as well as 1,000 other things. It's so stupid.
It's really stupid. And this sounds even more stupid because inherently what they've done is not made it fair, because as you said... You're getting rid of... The boxer's only going to box. So the boxer knows how to box. The MMA fighter knows how to do that as well as everything else. So they've inherently had to go, right, so kicks and elbows and takedowns, they're all forbidden. But it sounds to me they've gone, right, let's make the ring a triangle for some reason, because I guess octagons. So they go, right, we've got to have a triangle rather than a square.
Yeah.
And
Because 3.
Yeah, and we'll allow.
You know. Free,
do you think that was their meeting? They went, what other shape? Triangles, because free. You know?
Yeah.
It's good.
Triad, triangle. Finished. What's
So,
next? Ring
and then-
sorted. Maybe it's cheaper having only 3 sides. Maybe the kit like.
Less
But then
rough.
Save a bit
they've
money.
gone, we'll allow clinching. So essentially it's going to be a more boring boxing match.
Hang on,
'Cause
they can't throw knees, can they?
No.
So they're
So
going
what
to
can you do in the clinch?
Huh?
I don't know. They're saying you can't do elbows and knees. So you know the bit. I don't know boxing, and Niall and Dustin. I mean, I don't know how much boxing you watch now, but I only watch a
boxing.
bit, and the most boring bit in boxing is when they're tied up, and the ref has to come in and be like, "Oh, separate," and that happens a lot. And it sounds like
lot.
this sounds like they're just going to allow them to lie on each other all the time. That's what this sounds like.
That's another thing that winds me up, right? 2 boxers who box. Yeah. The aim of boxing is to box, is to throw punches, right? 2 people who do not like to grapple end up grappling for a lot of the match, especially when they're tired. And then when the suggestion comes along of, shall we, add some grappling? No. That's my safe space that I like. When I'm holding somebody, I don't like to be in danger. That's me saying, I'm a bit tired, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's ridiculous.
Do you watch much boxing now?
Not as much as I watch MMA.
Fair.
Good lad.
Good man. Good. But this genuinely sounds like the worst of all worlds.
Yeah,
so
it
you
sounds
can't.
terrible.
But I want to see it.
This is what gives them this.
I want to
know.
see it.
Why are you giving them business?
Oh.
That's the problem. I bet you I'm going to put money down now,
I just want to
right?
see that triangular. Is it a ring or a cage or just a space?
It's a
I
ring,
don't
isn't
know.
it? Yeah,
They
it's got-
just said a
got
triangle
rope on it.
ring.
Like the thing
Yeah.
that Karate Combat uses is bizarre, isn't it? I like that with like just the angled sides.
But that feels
odd.
like with the Karate Combat, 2 men enter, and because it's like down, I feel like they can't climb out. Like if one was like running away, he can't get away from that. They're steep for me. I would
very gradual incline.
2 men who were black belts from the age of 8.
Right, that's a show I'd watch. We just collect like adults who were black belts and just see what they can do.
Do you know what? There's a market for that. I would
wanna watch
actually
that.
watch that. Like that kid from my class when I was 8 who was at karate, who was going to be a black belt. What actually can you do now? But I want to see them against an actual black belt now. See if they could cope.
Not even that. I want adults who were black belts in a bullshit martial art like karate to fight someone.
Oh, mate, we're going to get so many messages
to
about
fight-
that comment.
To fight someone who's done, a few months of like jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai, like, I go 3 times a week. Been doing it for about 6 months now. That's the fight I want to see.
We're going to get so many comments. Well, some
My
comments.
money is on casual Kevin every time.
Oh man, I would watch that. But yeah, this sounds like shit. This
How many,
I don't
how
want
many
to.
2-minute rounds are there?
It just says the guy in the press announcement, whoever their Dana White sort of character is. All he said was
Dana White character.
Well, they all have them, don't they? They
You mean
all
like
know
a president, a front man, like a.
Well,
What do you
yeah,
mean?
but I think
Dana
people
White
have.
character. Who's their bald chap? They gotta have a big bald chap. Who is it?
But I think they've realised that Dana White's such a character that they all need like this sort of loudmouth sort of character, like president, like the bare knuckle boxing guy. Do you remember him? He came out that time. It was ridiculous, and it was like, we encourage people to beat the shit out of each other, and if they're not doing that, we're cutting their bonuses, and those guys aren't going to get paid now for not having an exciting fight. And he was like, I think he was high on cocaine or something because he was like really red and sweating, and it was. But it's just like, I'm a larger than life character, larger than my sport sort of thing. It was very strange, but they're all a bit like that now.
Did you guys used to watch, was it Cage Warriors? And they used to have that bald guy on there, didn't they? Was it Cockney? And he just talked non-stop.
Yeah. That's it. I reckon they actually had hair.
White character. They shaved him.
Shaved him.
He'd be shinier.
That's what I think. I think they go, right, we need a Dana White character, so we'll shave him. That's what I think.
I'm just looking at. I had to Google it. I'm looking at it now, and even like Frank Mir's obviously been fucking paid to say this bullshit. Frank Mir's said, "Oh, it levels the playing field between boxers and fighters." Whatever. But the thing that's so stupid about it is like, okay, if these people have a fight, the fighter will win. So it's like, well, how much can we take away from the fighter to try and give the boxer a chance? And then they've landed on this thing where they think, hopefully this will result in, sometimes the boxer will win, sometimes the fighter will win.
Have you seen the ring? Well, it's not a ring.
No,
but
let's have a look.
Mate, I've got a picture of it in front of me. It is hilarious.
Oh, no, I'm looking at it. Man, those are sharp corners. Mate, Niall, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I just looked at it now.
So anyone who's listening, quickly on your phone, I just searched Triad MMA, went on images, and it's like the 5th or 6th image. There's a few. Yeah, it's just a fucking triangle with sharp. If you get put in that corner, you're never getting out.
No.
What? How does this benefit anyone? Like, what's the like? Is this to like simulate like fighting in an alley? Or like, I mean, like in a pub and you get caught between, like there's table and the bar.
There's actually some bottles scattered around the ring every now and then, so they can pick them up and use them as weapons. I would watch that as well.
Hey, that's one I'd watch. or just they literally just have like a set of a bar. Like they build a set like you would for a sitcom of a bar. And say, yeah, let's go. And let's go. I don't know. And maybe like it starts with 2 guys, but at any time extra people will jump in. You don't know whose side they're on. So one guy might be winning, but then boom, boot to the head, like soccer kick to the head whilst they're on the ground. He's out.
They're all slightly drunk as well. Nobody's sober. Everybody's slightly drunk. So hand-eye coordination isn't quite there.
And then there's a few like girlfriends who are like trying to somehow hold him back. Like, hold me back. There's guys that are at the edge, but they're not getting involved because their like 50-kilo girlfriend is able to hold them back.
If she wasn't here, I'd be involved.
Yeah, mate. Oh, you're lucky. You're lucky. She's holding me back. Stop holding me back.
This already sounds better than this shit.
Yeah, I would watch that. I would watch that.
Yeah, this is awful. This
Maybe
cage, man.
Start that.
Yeah, we should. I can't
believe they've got that triangular. That's insane. Mate, I just don't get how they're so sharp, those corners. Like, I can't wait to see what happens when someone gets stuck in that corner. There's no angling out of there. Once you're in there, you're stuck. You're done. You're finished.
Do you know? I've started seeing shit online, mate. I've started seeing that this isn't the first time this triangle's been used. I'm watching a video as we speak of this triangle in use in a different promotion. I don't think it's the same promotion. Okay. So this isn't even their original idea.
Nick.
And a guy's just getting beaten the shit out of in the corner.
Of course he is. Of course he is. Man, imagine. Oh yeah, hang on. And then they say go back to your corner, and it's like, oh, that looks really weird. They're kind of opposite each other, but not. Yeah. They're like, that is odd.
I might watch this.
3 sides. You need 3 fighters. You need an all-v-all with 3 men.
Yeah, I'd watch that as well. I'd watch that as well.
Combat Casuals, we are absolutely not brought to you by TFC.
No, do you know what? I don't want to be. If they ever did come to us, I don't want to. Mate, I don't want your triangle shit. I don't want that.
I just had a quick think about it, and I just can't hear myself saying like it's the perfect level playing field between boxers and mixed martial artists.
Well, so do you know what? We've definitely made an enemy today. That's for certain. They're
I don't think they care. I don't think we're on that level. I don't think they know we exist.
Let me dream, man. Let me dream. I love how this has become. It started off as us talking about like sparring and stuff, and it's just become us talking about what we'd like to watch. Yeah, I'd like to watch that. Yeah, that'd be good. I'd watch some boxing. Not this shit though. Yeah, this sounds crap. What is on tonight? Though, I mean, you guys probably won't be able to see it, but and also this podcast is probably irrelevant to it. But if anybody's got Fight Pass, you'll be able to rewatch it. Is Polaris, which is a like jiu-jitsu competition, it's like just jiu-jitsu, which is very good. I enjoy it. It's really good.
No,
he's the guy who doesn't.
You're not watching that?
What's that, Niall?
Is he the guy who doesn't release the subs?
No,
Uzumar
that's
Polaris.
Uzumar Polaris. No.
Not Polaris. Yeah, Uzumar Polaris.
Yeah. He's
well
another
done,
guy
though,
who
Niall,
goes
for
hard.
someone who doesn't do jiu-jitsu. Good name
Yeah,
recognition.
well done for
That was
knowing
close.
him. That's
Close.
impressive.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good participation.
Said the most patronising person. Well done. We're going to put that right here. Right here.
I thought that's why Dustin was saying he didn't want to watch, because I could understand people not wanting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, guys are dickheads. No, this is just a straight jiu-jitsu competition, so it's
I just get
jiu-jitsu
bored of straight jiu-jitsu. The same way I get bored of boxing. It's like I'm just like hit him. I don't,
Whereas I like watching just jiu-jitsu. I like watching it. There's a particular guy on it, Jed Hugh, who like trains in London. He's phenomenal at jiu-jitsu, and he's competing against a guy AJ Agazar, which is going to be a very good competition. So I will be watching that. Yeah, but nobody else has to apparently.
Just dead silence.
I was trying to think. What was
That's a good podcast. Just silence.
What were you going to say now?
What was the fight that was on the same night as the Caleb Plant Canelo boxing match? It was a recent one.
Kamaru Usman versus Kobe Covington.
Right. So the next day I was on YouTube, and bearing in mind that was a 25-minute fight, and Canelo's went to the 11th round, right? So it was like 33 minutes. I was on YouTube the next day, and BT Sport released the official highlights of the fight. And the one for the Covington Usman was about 15 minutes long, just the highlights of the fight. And the one for the Plant Canelo was about 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I was like, that pretty much sums up why MMA is better.
Right.
Interesting fact about comparing those two. I believe on numbers they only did 1 million less pay-per-views than the Canelo fight, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
I mean, put that in context. Only 1 million. If one did 2 and one did 1 million, that's quite a lot. That's double.
No, but like comparing it is like, so there's again, I think I've mentioned him on the podcast before. There's a guy on YouTube called The Weasel who does like a lot of like MMA breakdowns and like is very knowledgeable about it. And he was saying that like the fact Kamaru Usman, even though he's the pound for pound best, and I think with us we'd say he's one of the best to ever be doing MMA, he's not one of the major pay-per-view draws for the UFC. And the fact that he only did 1 million less than Canelo is pretty crazy when you think about it.
Boring crotch sniffer, isn't he?
But if you put Dustin versus Conor McGregor on the same night as Canelo,
I'll fuck him up, mate. I will fuck him up. Let me in there. Forget about the fucking like 50-pound weight advantage. And let me in there.
Well, you're a major pay-per-view star, mate. You draw him in.
I would be as a complete nobody, complete unknown. If people were like, Conor McGregor's fighting, who's he fighting? Oh, some guy from like York. Oh, has he fought before? No, he's just gonna have a bash.
See how he does.
Yeah. Oh, are they the same weight at least? No, this guy's way bigger, but like he doesn't fight, he doesn't compete. Should be good. It's in a triangle.
It's in a triangle ring.
Yeah. In a triangle. They're not allowed to do single legs, but they can do takedowns from the clinch. But once on the ground, they can only submit. I don't know. I'm trying to make rules up on the fly, which is apparently what they're doing. So
yeah, that definitely is what they did, mate. They sat in that boardroom and just made it up. They just made that shit up. But yeah, it is interesting that they only did 1 million less. It does make you realize MMA, I think, is becoming far more popular. It's
better. It's just better. You're talking about the highlights now. It's like boxing highlight. Oh, you know, the one guy punched the other guy, and then the other guy's punched him as well. And I mean, like, it's like MMA takedowns and kicks and elbows and knees and subs, and there's all sorts going on. Boxing is just like punching.
I mean, a good example of that is God, mad memory today is absolutely terrible. The Ortega-Volkanovski fight.
Yeah, great fight. That was crazy.
If you watch the highlights of that, like you say, boxing, just punching, but like when Ortega had him in that submission, and he held him in that for about 15 to 20 seconds, and you're like...
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can't believe he didn't tap. It was the guillotine, wasn't there? And then was it a triangle as well?
That's right.
The guillotine was crazy. Yeah. Like the guillotine was actually like... I can't believe it. Yeah. Yeah, the fact he didn't tap is insane. I couldn't believe it. That fight was great, though.
It was a great fight.
Really good fight.
Great fight.
Really great fight. But again, comparatively, like again, I don't want to discredit Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, but I didn't watch that fight. I just watched the highlights, and it was all right. I know some boxing fans been like, it's the fight that has brought boxing back or something, but
as far as boxing goes, that was a fantastic fight. But as far as fighting goes, it was a boxing match.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas that Brian Ortega Volkanovski fight, I'd watch that over that every time. Like I would, because it was crazy. That fight was insane. I know people would be like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And I know it was a good fight, but yeah, I would watch Brian Ortega over the Tyson Fury fight for certain.
And prime example, tune in tomorrow. DNA MMA.
I'd rather watch this
amateurs having a blinky scrap
than Tyson Fury. Yeah, I'm saying it right now.
It's gonna be good.
Gonna be good.
Go get it.
Go get it. Yeah.
That feels like a natural stopping point.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that it? Is this it?
Gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
Unless anyone has anything else to bring to the table.
No, I feel pretty happy with everything I've said today. I've got no regrets. What about you, Niall?
I'm just going to finish by saying I like John Jones.
Oh, fuck off! What are you fucking saying? Are you what you better be joking.
I am joking.
Right, oh my God.
Just so everyone knows, Niall is our Steve. He's the only person
you
who
are our
consistently listens.
You're our Steve. I was saying this today to Dustin. I was like, we're having our Steve. Come on. This is literally like, but if you had liked John Jones, mate, I would have been like, you can't be our Steve. I don't want you anymore.
Do you know, I live in Malton, which is about 20 miles from where Dustin's gym is. So when you guys release a podcast, I quite often listen to it on the way. But I realised the other day that I pulled up to the gym listening to Dustin, and I was like, God, people will think I'm such a loser if they can hear me listening to Dustin before going to his lesson.
That's true, actually. Like, or if I was just walking past as you pulled in, I could just hear my own voice in your car. Like, hang on, what am I? No, I'm not on the phone.
Yeah. Am I in that car?
Niall really loves me. Am I in that car?
Yeah.
Having a real out of body experience. Where am I? Mate,
it'd be more weird if it was a discussion that wasn't on the podcast. I'd just been recording you secretly.
Yeah, oh, that'd be amazing.
Talking to like Lily and my dog.
And you're like, wait a minute, that's not the podcast. That's definitely not what we were talking about.
In one of our future episodes, if I remember, I'm just going to be talking. And I'm just going to go, no, watch out for that deer. Like, see if I can get an illicit response out of Niall. Watch out!
We're going to have to leave it a bit, because if we do it immediately, he'll expect it. Yeah, no, you got to leave it like...
Because you know how when you're listening to a podcast, to some extent, you almost feel like you're part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like you're there. Yeah, that would be so funny. It's like, no, careful. No, break. Watch out. There's a child in the road. Watch out for that.
He's got a black belt, though, so
he'll do more damage to your car than you will to him. That 8 or 15-year-old black belt.
We can't tell his age. He might be.
Tell his age. I don't have kids. I don't know. That's a Chris D'Elia bit, by the way. If anyone, I don't want anyone listening and being like, "Oh, he steals his bits." It's from Chris.
When you said that, I genuinely thought you didn't know what the definition of a child was.
I mean, when are you not a toddler? 3? Are you a toddler at 2?
5,
and
I think 5.
You're a toddler at 4.
No.
Well,
yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah,
maybe
4.
3.
I think.
And then you're a teenager at 13, right? So you're a child at 12, teenager at 13.
Yeah.
Are you an adult at 18 or 21?
21, I think.
Well, I mean, in England, 18 to drink and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah.
Around America, 20. I'd say you're not an adult until you're 21, I think.
Yeah, that's when I've generally, like, 21's a big birthday, even if we can do everything here. 21's like when you go, right, you're an adult now, you know.
Yeah.
Let's go out and
someone just sits you down, sits you down, gives you a whiskey, shakes your hand. Okay. Okay. They give you your beard. Here's your beard. Here's your. They just like jab you in your throat. And you go from going, oh, hello, oh, sorry.
Just imagining that like off Pulp Fiction where they open up the suitcase and the light comes out. There's your beard.
Yeah.
That's what that film was actually all about. A beard. It was just about a beard. They were all trying to find that guy's beard. That's what it was.
That'd be a better Christmas rather than about a boy. About a beard. a young boy who doesn't have a beard, forever tormented. 21st birthday, he's given his beard.
Yeah. Hugh Grant sits him down on his 21st birthday. He doesn't know him. He just sits him down, gives him the beard.
Look, shake my hand. Here's your beard.
There you go.
and a care guide, like, you need to wash it like twice a week. You can use oils and balms. You might want to get yourself a little comb.
Yeah, but be careful with it. You want to take care.
Powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff. You
Great
don't want
power.
it too long, but you don't want it too short.
Yeah, great power and all that. Great power. Oh,
I might get some. Did you guys? Sorry, Niall, this is ages ago for you, but at school, did you?
Are we just keep going? Is that what's happening?
I think so. I just have one more thing to ask, because when you were talking about participation, did you have like little stickers on sports day and that for like I tried my best?
Mate, I talked about participation so long ago. Where's that come from?
It's just been sitting there and I've been waiting for a time to come up, and it never came up. So I just thought, I'm gonna just force this in. I'm just gonna
right at the end.
No one's talking. Look out, here it comes.
Okay,
so,
go on then.
Did you have them like I tried my best stickers? If you didn't come first, second, or third, you got one that said like I'm a good sport or whatever.
Yeah.
So I
got them.
I want to see if we can get them, and then anytime we have a guest, I'll just send them a little like I'm a good sport. I'm a good sport sticker.
Retrospectively send them as well, so Robin Black gets one and he's like, what the fuck is this?
yeah, ages after, and don't put who it's from. It's just...
That's the only thing in the envelope. Just
yeah, that's it.
Oh, no envelope. I was just hoping someone could put it through his door. Just loose.
You've reminded me, I've had like a flashback to my childhood. I've probably like put this to the back of my mind because it tormented me for so long, but I remember I used to get them all the time because I wasn't very good at sports when I was younger. Like, I'm not good at running anyway, but in sports day it was always like fucking sprints and things like that. And I'm shit at doing stuff like that. And I remember one year I was like, I really wanted to win. Like, I really, really wanted it because I had come last so often. So I fucking really went for it. And I came third.
I like how in the other ones, that implies that you weren't trying at all. I'd like to win, but I'm not willing to run fast.
I'll still get the sticker.
I want the sticker. No, I'm actually as fast as like fucking Usain Bolt. I just don't try.
I see the merit in winning, but I'm not willing to try hard.
Yeah, I don't really want it. No, I remember. And how our sports days work, you ran, then you got to the
You got to the end, did you? They don't tell you where the finish is. You just set off running. First one to find the finish. Where am I going? Figure out, cunt. Use your black belt. Right.
Oh, mate, I'm actually crying. No.
So hang on. So how did your sports day work? Because it sounds a bit different from mine. You start running.
What you do?
You get to the end.
What you did was you went to these people, like these free like teachers or adults who were there to like
just adults. They don't work there.
Parents.
Just pull some people in,
and you would collect like your bronze like medal or something like that. And I remember, and I can't believe this parent got away with this, but I remember going to him to get bronze. But his son was in the race too and came fourth, and he gave it to his son.
No, he fucking didn't.
He did. And he went, no, you were fourth to me. And I was like, what? I was like so much further ahead.
So much politics in a childhood school sports. Hey, the 100-yard dash is all about who you know.
Mate, I remember that so well now, and I was like, you fucking cunt.
Maybe his dad is the guy who gives out kids black belts as well.
Yeah, it's the same guy, mate.
Yeah, my son's a black belt. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not a black belt. You're definitely not.
Blue belt. Fucking blue belt. Fuck out of here.
Oh man, I'm actually crying with laughter
and a little bit of sadness for having missed out on an important child.
I'm using it as an excuse. I'm crying with laughter. Oh man, yeah, what a dickhead.
I just love how you phrased that, man. Like, so the way it worked on our sports days was you'd start running and you'd get to the
end. Wait, were you not the same?
Christ.
Right.
Bellyache now. I'm sitting in a backless chair. I'm just sitting on like a footstool, so I'm always using my core as it is, and I'm feeling it.
Oh God. Oh, I feel like that's a good place to end. I'm glad we carried on now. That was good.
Yeah, it was a bit of childhood therapy for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, this episode started off with us talking about dog breeds, and now it's ended with me having some therapy.
I don't know how to loop it back. I can't loop it back.
Dogs are great for therapy.
They are. You get home and they're just so happy to see you.
There you go.
It's good. It makes you feel better.
I need a dog. I need to get one.
A dog.
I will. For
you.
you.
You're living in London, man. You can't buy nothing in London.
No. It's shit being in flats in London because you just can't have a dog. And I wonder if I asked my landlord. She'd probably say no, though. She wouldn't do it.
This doesn't sound like podcast talk, actually.
No, I was going to say we should have ended. We should have ended so long ago. This is a mess, this one.
Right, we're just Ian's really going downhill now. Like, okay, so let's quickly get out of here.
The therapy started. Now things have gone real dark.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Okay, well, thanks for coming on, Niall.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, fun.
Mate.
I did.
Oh, and thanks to the listeners as well, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry it's like this.
No, thank you, Steve, because Steve's here.
Yeah, just thanks to everyone.
We never know how to end these, so we just tail off until we eventually just decide, okay, bye.
Like, you need to get to the gym to cut your mats into a triangle, Dustin, so...
Imagine. Oh, my God.
I'd love that if tomorrow you do one with a triangle. I'd fucking love that. That would be amazing. Oh... But yeah, thanks everybody, and goodbye. Does that work? Is that a good end?
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Combat Casuals podcast.
To get involved with the ultimate fighting conversation, email us at combatcasuals@outlook.com.
We can answer your questions in our next podcast.
Or maybe even have you on the show.
Be sure to follow, subscribe, leave us a review, or support us however you can.
Thank you to Me Against the World for our theme music.
Catch you next time.